Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Friday, the 26th of Rabi'ul Awwal, 1447, 19th of September 2025. Our Hazrat Wala is reading from the text there, जानना चाहिए कि हक़ सुब्हानहू व तआला ने इब्राहिम अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम के क़ल्ब को नूर रिज़ा से मुंबसित कर दिया था. Now, our Hazrat Wala is speaking about the kitab itself, that Hazrat Haji Imdadullah said, Ashraf Ali, translate this kitab, it will be of great benefit to the people. Now here, just look at the ibarat and just look at the way it is translated. जानना चाहिए कि हक़ सुब्हानहू व तआला ने इब्राहिम अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम के क़ल्ब को नूर रिज़ा से मुंबसित कर दिया था. Allahu Akbar. Now the essence of that is the maqam riza, the station of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in suluk and tasawwuf. And the essence, which if in couplets we can put it forward to you, harche az dost mi rasad nekost. Whatever comes from the side of dost of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is only good in that. So here, اعلم أن الحق سبحانه وتعالى بسط سر إبراهيم عليه الصلاة والسلام بنور الرضا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened the heart of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam with the nur and illumination of his pleasure. Allah ta'ala blessed him with the essence of submission. Allah saved his heart from looking towards the makhluk. Therefore, the fire then became cold and peaceful for him. Now this only happens for somebody who's handed their heart over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So with submission then comes peace. You first have to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you are blessed with peace. So when this batin and this internal of ours becomes correct, thereafter from Allah ta'ala's side what comes? Izzat and karamat. Allah gives honor then to that person. So to be happy in every condition, whether it is destitution, a person should be happy. If sickness comes his way, he should be happy. Now this is a very, very high stage, being pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, Maulana Abrar al-Haq gave us some work to do. And then afterwards when he came to find out that this happened and that happened, so we just abandoned that. He reprimanded us, he scolded us. And what was it about? That you should have continued, you should have pursued, you should have been consistent and carried on trying. Why did you stop? So to be pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this path, tariq, it will not change. It is the very same. Now today we don't even know these concepts. We don't even know what is rada bil qada, to be pleased with the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with taqdeer. Now whatever comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be pleased with that, that is the essence of tariq. Now it is such a high stage, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all with that. So at the time of examination, whoever hands himself over to Allah, then Allah ta'ala then exchanges the thorns for roses. And Allah ta'ala exchanges fear by blessing one with peace. Therefore, when shaitan puts you into the catapult of examination, and the entire world comes to you saying, do you have any needs? Then say, from you, no, but from Allah most definitely. If they say to you, ask Him then say that His knowledge about my condition suffices me from even asking. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will turn the fire of the dunya, make it cool and peaceful. And Allah ta'ala will bless you with His favors and honor, because Allah ta'ala opened the doors for the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam, opened up for them the paths of Hidayat, and then thereafter the believing people threaded that path behind them and made it incumbent. Those who had yaqeen made it incumbent upon themselves to follow them. The Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam. Qul, say, hadihi sabili, this is my path. I call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with foresight myself and whoever follows me. Now regarding Yunus alayhi salatu wassalam, Allah ta'ala says, speaking about him, فَاسْتَجَبَنَا لَهُ, we accepted from him, وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْغَمِّ, and we gave him salvation from sorrow and grief. وَكَذَلِكَ نُنْجِي الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and in this way we would continue giving salvation to the believing people. Meaning, whoever follows in the footsteps of this particular example, meaning they are so enthusiastic for the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are in search of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they humble themselves, they are actually wearing the garments of annihilation and the garments of destitution, meaning in front of Allah, this is how they present themselves. Now there are great lessons in this for anybody who's seeking to take a lesson. And there is hidayat in this year for anybody who is looking for foresight and insight. So the essence of it is, whoever comes out of this chakkar and this circle where he is planning for himself, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then starts planning for him. Do you not see Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam did not plan for himself? Rather, he was not even cared, he didn't even bother about it. It is then that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is He that then, through this whole matter, handed it over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he put his full trust in Him. The end result of that was complete and total peace and contentment and ikram. Honor from the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and thana and praise, even though great amounts of time has passed, so much of time has passed, then too they are remembered. So Allah Ta'ala commands us not to come out from the millat and the creed of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, and we should keep in mind what his millat was, what his creed was, and what Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam stand for. Meaning he absolved himself from actually planning for himself, and he came out from debating with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather, his millat was to complete and total submission and handing himself over when it came to whatever Allah Ta'ala chose for him. On this point here we speak about Allah Ta'ala will then continuously give salvation to the believing people. In that manner, Allah will continue doing that. Hazrath Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb used to say very passionately, this was his khas mazmoon, he would say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say this anywhere in the Quran other than this particular place, that in this very manner we will grant salvation to the believing people. So even when it comes to your readings and whatever you have done, your ibadat, etc., you cannot put your trust in that. Rather, you have to hand it over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and put your trust in Him. And this is the essence of this path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala put us on the correct path. Rather, He allow us to walk this path to Him. Rather, even greater than that, Allah make us reach. Allah make us reach Him. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.